Hello, basketball people, we have news. Let's go to more news about the Golden State Warriors. I ask you to give a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, as I am a Warriors fan. The Warriors need a big, athletic man, and a trade involving 5 players, if it goes through, will bring the 7'1" giant, Claxton, to the Warriors. A trade between the Warriors and the Brooklyn Nets, if it happens, will be a great success for the Warriors. The NBA trade deadline is just weeks away, and it's no secret that the Golden State Warriors need to make a move. Trading away a disgruntled Jonathan Kuminga is a clear priority. However, when looking at the Warriors roster, the need for a big man is just as clear. Al Horford is aging, and it's unclear if second-year big man Quinton Post can be trusted in high-leverage situations. Recently, Hoops Hype's Michael Scotto reported that the Warriors have Brooklyn Nets center Claxton on their list of potential targets, and frankly, I couldn't think of a better fit for this team. With Kuminga's expiring deal and some future draft capital to offer, Golden State could make a very attractive offer for Claxton. Here's what I think it could look like. Golden State Warriors receive Claxton, Haywood Highsmith. Brooklyn Nets receive Jonathan Kuminga, Tracy Jackson Davis, Buddy Hield. 2031 first-round pick, top 3 protected. Let's start with the Warriors side of things. There's no doubt they have to finally dump Kuminga at the deadline. Nevertheless, since he's fallen out of the team's rotation, it will be challenging to get an impact player back without including other players or assets. For a rebuilding Nets team, that means financial flexibility and draft capital. Giving up a future pick that will likely fall in the post-Stephen Curry era does introduce some risk. But Curry is still playing at an elite level, and it would be a disservice not to give him a real chance to win in his twilight years. Plus, adding top 3 protection softens the risk a bit. For technical purposes, if this pick doesn't convey, Golden State will continue to owe a top 3 protected pick to Brooklyn until it does. In terms of players in for players out, though, this deal is a no-brainer for the Dubs. Of course, the biggest factor is, finally, getting rid of Kuminga. However, beyond that, Tracy Jackson Davis and Buddy Hield aren't consistent rotation players for the Warriors. Yet Claxton could be a real impact player at a position of acute need. Claxton's counting stats of 12.9 points, 7.6 rebounds, 4.1 assists and 1.4 blocks don't jump off the page. However, he is a fantastic interior defender with underrated offensive versatility. Notably, opponents are shooting just 48.8% within 6 feet of the hoop with Claxton as the closest defender. Furthermore, Claxton's 4.1 assists are 6th among centers, and his high basketball IQ makes him an ideal fit in the Warriors system. The fit with he and Draymond Green in the frontcourt is tantalizing, and it would help bolster an already stellar Warriors defense. Claxton might be a star name, but his impact on Golden State would be immense, and he would help them be more than a clear first-round exit team. Now, whether the Warriors would actually part ways with future draft capital is up for debate. Their track record hints against it, but they absolutely should make a move like this. Another trade, if it happens, will shake up the NBA and turn the Warriors into favorites. Massive Warriors Michael Porter Jr. trade is still alive if latest rumors are true. Speculation of a potential Michael Porter Jr. trade to the Golden State Warriors has quietened in recent days, with multiple reports stating that the franchise doesn't have too much interest in the Brooklyn Nets forward. However, that could be all a bluff according to NBA insider Grant Afseth of Dallas Hoops Journal, who reports that there could be something brewing between the Warriors and Nets on a Porter trade. Warriors trade for Michael Porter Jr. is still alive according to latest report. In a major piece on Saturday, Afseth went against the grain of recent reporting that suggested Golden State had far less interest in Porter compared to what's been shown by many fans on social media. Despite mixed public reporting, league sources told DallasHoopsJournal.com that there is legitimate interest from the Golden State Warriors, with multiple executives indicating that something brewing exists beneath the surface as the February 5 deadline approaches, Afseth wrote. The Golden State Warriors are a team to keep an eye on for Brooklyn Nets forward Michael Porter Jr. ahead of the February 5 deadline, sources told. The Warriors are now free to pull off a move for Porter or anyone else after Jonathan Kuminga and his $22.5 million salary became trade eligible on Thursday. With Porter making $38.3 million this season, a trade would also have to likely include Buddy Hield and starting shooting guard Moses Moody. Porter's stock continues to rise in Brooklyn after being traded by the Denver Nuggets in exchange for Cam Johnson during the offseason. The 27-year-old is averaging career highs across the board, and his latest outing against the Chicago Bulls on Friday included a game-winning layup with just over 5 seconds remaining. That was part of another 26-point, 7-rebound performance from Porter on 9 of 17 shooting from the floor and 5 of 10 from three-point range, with the 6 feet 10 inches forward now averaging 25.8 points, 7.5 rebounds, and 3.2 assists this season on 49/41/84 shooting splits. Porter's strong form and rehabilitation of his value means the Warriors would have to give up draft capital for the 2023 NBA champion, with that likely to be the sticking point in any negotiations between the two teams. Golden State may be hesitant to give up picks beyond this year's first-round selection, let alone the post-Stephen Curry assets that are deemed so valuable by rival teams. They reportedly would do that for a player like Trey Murphy III, who seemingly remains above Porter on their wish list. Porter still appears like the most realistic target for the Warriors to acquire a major upgrade before the deadline, with Afseth's report breathing some life back into the possibility as the front office explore various Kuminga deals. Stephen Curry shares his thoughts on Jonathan Kuminga trade fiasco. Throughout the Jonathan Kuminga drama at the Warriors, there have been multiple conversations about the franchise's veteran not caring about the 23-year-old. Even former Detroit Pistons star Isaiah Thomas highlighted that the best players would often help the team get better, and he questioned Curry, Green, and Butler for not being vocal on the entire Kuminga situation. While many believe the Kuminga trade saga has hindered the Warriors' progress this season, Stephen Curry immediately debunked such notions after Thursday night's 126-113 win over the New York Knicks. He firmly stood his ground, highlighting that the situation around Kuminga's trade doesn't make any difference to the Dubs on the court. "It's not a distraction at all," Curry said. "It's a very unique situation, but our job is to just keep playing, keep winning. It'll resolve itself one way or the other." Butler also reiterated Curry's words, wishing Kuminga the best for his future. "We love JK in this locker room," Butler said. "That's not going to change. If it happens he's not being here, we still rock with JK. I speak for everybody." So the message from the Warriors veterans is that they are sticking to their season goals, and the entire Jonathan Kuminga trade saga isn't a distraction for them, as many believe. The Warriors are currently 8th in the Western Conference with a 23-19 record and are desperate to climb the ladder and improve their position. They have a rhythm going right now with 5 wins out of the last 7 games. What's next for Warriors after Jonathan Kuminga demanded trade from team? League sources confirmed to NBC Sports Bay Area that Jonathan Kuminga has demanded a trade away from the Warriors, with Thursday, January 15, being the first day he became trade eligible from the contract he signed over the summer as a restricted free agent. The NBA's official trade deadline is 3 weeks away on February 5. So, now what? Every party involved, the Warriors side and the Kuminga side, acknowledge the best move for the two is a split and fresh start for the fifth-year pro. However, league sources recently have relayed there's a non-zero chance Kuminga remains on the Warriors in the coming weeks and past the trade deadline. His trade value has never been lower as teams around the league watch him be nowhere in Golden State's plans, and the Warriors have dug a hole that might be too hard to climb out of at 22-19 as the number 8 seed in the Western Conference at the halfway point of the season. Kuminga has played just once in the last 17 games, in which the Warriors have gone 10-7, playing 9.5 minutes against the Phoenix Suns in a 1-point loss after Steve Kerr said he would reward Kuminga for a string of strong practices. Kerr has made Kuminga a healthy DNP-CD in every other game since December 7, aside from Kuminga being a late, and surprising, addition to the injury report with lower back soreness against the Oklahoma City Thunder in a 37-point loss on January 2. Multiple teams have shown different levels of interest in Kuminga, with one always standing out as the strongest suitor. NBC Sports Bay Area listed the Sacramento Kings, Dallas Mavericks, Chicago Bulls, and Washington Wizards as those teams 1 week ago on January 7. Some things already have changed. The Kuminga connection to the Mavs, though they do like the idea of having him in a rebuilding state around rookie Cooper Flagg, was centered more on Dallas gauging the Warriors' interest in Anthony Davis. It already was a stretch to envision Davis wearing a Golden State jersey with the Warriors' reluctance to trading Draymond Green or Jimmy Butler, and now the oft-injured Davis is out for at least the next 6 weeks because of a left-hand injury. The Bulls, who were the first team Kuminga was a healthy DNP/CD, did not play. Coach's decision against have eyed Kuminga multiple times in the past but nothing materialized then, and it hasn't now. The Wizards recently took a big swing and traded for Trae Young, sending Corey Kispert, whom the Warriors have liked in the past, and C.J. McCollum to the Atlanta Hawks. That leaves the Kings, who also have pushed hardest for Kuminga, remaining from those above 4 teams. Even still, the Warriors have lost leverage on their foes from up north. The Kings offered a 3-year, $63 million contract to Kuminga in the summer, putting guard Malik Monk and a protected 2030 first-round draft pick on the table. The draft pick has been taken off the table for a long time now as Kuminga racks up DNPs, and the Warriors don't have any interest in Monk, as well as the 3 years and more than $60 million left on his contract. The Phoenix Suns are the other team that did offer Kuminga a contract in the offseason. Their offer was a 4-year, $90 million contract with Kuminga's desired player option at the end, in exchange for veteran Royce O'Neal and multiple second-round picks. The Warriors didn't deem that to be a good enough trade, and the Suns currently don't have the same kind of in-season Kuminga interest. With only Moses Moody's $13.4 million contract on the books for the 2027-28 season, the Warriors are unenthusiastic about taking on long-term contracts and dealing future first-round picks a few years from now in what could be the post-Steph Curry era. Brooklyn Nets forward Michael Porter Jr. has been a name hotly connected to the Warriors on social media. In reality, the Warriors, as NBC Sports Bay Area reported 3 days ago, have been hesitant on Porter and have never shown the kind of interest that would get a deal done. The two teams have not spoken for more than a month. The Nets are not a Kuminga team. If they were, they wouldn't have selected 5 players in the first round of last June's draft, and they would have opened their wallets as one of the only teams with salary cap space last summer. A multi-team trade to acquire Porter always was going to be the path if the Warriors even want to walk down that road. They haven't shown any desire to give the Nets multiple first-round picks for Porter. The player they would do that for is 25-year-old Trey Murphy, who is averaging a career-high 22.2 points per game on 38.9% shooting from three-point range. But the Pelicans have even less reasons than the Nets to move their best asset during the season. As the list of possible Kuminga teams becomes murkier, there is one to keep your eyes on: the Los Angeles Lakers. That connection dates back to the summer of Kuminga's restricted free agency saga. League sources told NBC Sports Bay Area then that the Lakers were a team monitoring Kuminga's situation and the possibility of him taking the qualifying offer where he'd be an unrestricted free agent in the summer of 2026. Lakers president of basketball operations Rob Pelinka is a fan of Kuminga's, sources say, and likes the idea of him as an athletic wing on a Luka Doncic-led team. The Warriors have been aware of the Lakers' likeness for Kuminga, though it's unclear how likely an in-season move between the two teams is. The Warriors have a team option on Kuminga's second season, and he essentially becomes a $23.4 million expiring contract this summer. That can be valuable to teams, sure. It also can't be stressed enough how much moving on from one another now would benefit Kuminga and the Warriors, a team that can't have Curry and Butler playing at an elite level as a play-in team while such a tradable contract sits and watches from the bench. Standing idle would be a failure in asset mismanagement. The Warriors can see what Curry and Butler still are, and any help is better than no help. Changes come quickly in the NBA. There is undoubtedly more than one team that likes Kuminga, but that doesn't ensure anything. More could be added to the mix in this 3-week window now that Kuminga is trade eligible. His standing with Kerr and the Warriors, though, couldn't be clearer. It's time to move on, and time to let Kuminga move on too.